Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you very much for watching. It means a lot. Make sure you subscribe. All that good stuff. Follow me on all those social networks. For those of you that are new, the way this works, you send me a question any way you want to, okay? Email, phone, text, social, whatever. I'll keep you anonymous unless you want me to mention who you are and what company you work for. And then I'll answer your question. I will always answer your question. Now, I may not always do a video if I don't think the question will be interesting enough for other people, but I will get back to everybody, okay? So, and if I don't get back to you, remind me after a few days. Sometimes I'll just miss an email or miss a text. Just remind me, okay? So, today's question is about patient recruitment. Lately, it's been a lot of patient recruitment stuff, and I think that has to do with the fact that we're starting to see more studies now, although they're a little bit more challenging than what we may have been accustomed to maybe 5 years ago or 7 years ago. But we are seeing an uptick in studies, and as you all know, or maybe you don't know, I'm a huge believer in supply and demand dynamics, market dynamics. And so what I'm seeing, I like the fact that study supply is going up, because what that ultimately means, besides the obvious, which is more business for all of us, CROs, PIs, sites, patients, more options for you guys, the studies start to get a little less restrictive as study supply goes up, meaning it's a little bit easier to recruit subjects. Studies become a little more inclusive, at least generally speaking, right? Because there's a larger supply of studies, and in order for sites to actually want to do those studies, there has to be some kind of incentive for those sites when there's so much supply out there to choose from. We're not there yet. We're just starting to see the uptake, right? We were kind of at a bottom at this time last year, June 2015. I think we were kind of at the bottom. I would probably say the bottom was even before that, like maybe January 15 or winter of 2014. We're certainly like at the bottom. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when the bottom was, but we're definitely seeing differences now. We're seeing, I've asked people, we've had discussions, we're actually seeing much more activity right now in June 2016 than we were at June 2015, and so I think the uptick has started, and so that's good. But the question today is in regards to recruitment. So I'm trying to organize, and I'll just read it, so bear with me. I'm trying to organize a structure of about 30 doctors, mostly general practitioners, who will be helping us recruit more subjects in our studies by referring patients to our investigators. I have already been in communication with them. They seem to be okay with the idea and they're ready to work with us. However, I still can't figure out how to proceed with our feedback to them once they refer a patient. How these physicians would be sure that they are paid for referring a patient to us. You know that not every patient they refer would be eligible according to the inclusion-exclusion criteria. So I'm trying to find out any positive results that you've had as far as referring patients, working with referring doctors. So yeah, I mean, you're just going to have, and 30 is a lot, by the way, congratulations. I would consider it a success if you got just 10% of those, which means 3, to consistently refer patients to you, okay? Problem is, and it's not a problem, but you don't know which 3 of those 30 are going to be still referring patients to you in June 2017. And hopefully it's more. Hopefully it's all 30, right? And so there's 2 ways to go about this. There's 2 ways I've done this in the past. And whether you have 1 referring doctor or 30 or 300, it's one-on-one relationships with each and every physician. I interviewed, sometimes I have on one of my community outreach people she works with a few of our sites actually. Her job is to do nothing but this, physician relations, make sure they're referring patients, stay on top of who qualified, who didn't, let them know why. And then what we do, there's 2 ways to go about this. A lot of this depends on the doctor. What are they comfortable doing? I prefer you make them a sub-investigator for your study. Why? Because you're always going to be in need of a PI, and in your case, they're 30 general specialists, so they don't have a particular specialty that they specialize in. They're internists, internal medicine. So it may be a little less valuable for you to do so, but making them sub-Is, at least the ones that show interest, is always a good thing. The PIs can always use backup. You can always use an extra set of MD involvement, MD oversight in your study, even though we all know the PI oversight, nothing can replace that. But certainly having multiple sub-investigator MDs who can not only refer patients, but maybe they can do a certain procedure or a certain assessment, and then you can certainly compensate them for that. Now, if that's not the route you want to go, what I have done is, because referral fees are frowned upon, what I have done is I have set up a consulting agreement with these investigators, with these referring physicians, with these MDs, okay? And what we do is we find a pre-screening fee that we agree on. So yes, you're going to be paying them for some screen failures, but keep in mind you also get reimbursed for screen fails as well. And you're also going to pay them for when they randomize. You're going to have the doctor do a follow-up with them just to confirm, and this is going to help the quality of the data as well, just to confirm that the subject truly meets inclusion-exclusion criteria. So yes, your PI is the one who's supposed to do that, but you also want to have your sub-investigator do that, right, just to confirm. So the consulting fee is for pre-screening, and then for confirming that the subject does indeed qualify at randomization. Make that into whatever referral fee number you wanted to do, or you're comfortable doing, or these doctors and you have agreed upon, and go about it that way. You don't necessarily need a contract. You just can have a verbal agreement that this is what you're going to be doing, and then you're going to have to keep track of that, or somebody's going to have to keep track of that. You're going to need a Monica at your clinic. Monica's the one who I interviewed 2 videos ago about patient recruitment. I'll have her on again. I've had her on a bunch of times. She's going to be on our next webinar in July where we discuss, because we have monthly webinars, which are free, by the way, so make sure you subscribe to my email list. In July, our webinar is going to be focused on patient recruitment. In June, for those of you watching live on YouTube, we're actually going to have our webinar tomorrow, Tuesday, June 28th at noon Pacific time. We're going to be talking about strategies for adding more investigators to your clinical research site. So you're going to need somebody to keep track of all this stuff, especially if you have 30, all right? You may need more than one person. And just get organized. Have a list. Use Intralinks Via if you're worried about HIPAA compliance. It doesn't cost that much, something like $20 a month per user. Use something like Intralinks Via. Don't just email back and forth patient confidential information, but you use something that's HIPAA compliant and that other research clinics and researchers are using, and just stay on top of them, okay? And as I've said in many of my videos, I haven't said it in a while, but follow up. From those 30 that you say you have, I hope you have, I hope they're all going to refer, but I would realistically expect 3 of them to be consistently referring you patients, and that's really all you need, okay? So hopefully this helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Let me know if you've already tried this, and also I'd be curious to hear anyone else's opinions or comments on this topic out there, right? Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.